we've got our first Vanaheimr Resplendent, and that too on a unit who was the first summonable unit with a preferred special, and also the first unit to create a huge controversy in the game 7 years ago. So this is going to be my comprehensive Resplendent review of Ayra, and I'm going to be going over the builds that you can run on her in the modern times, and at the end I'll have a special bonus segment. So Ayra is a Gen 1 sword infantry unit, and she was basically the first really powerful sword infantry unit that we had in the game, because we didn't really have any kind of unit with her power level when she came out. So she didn't really have the best of the preferred weapon, and it was usually replaced with Slaying Edge for its minus and special cooldown, but the weapon refine that she got does give her minus and special cooldown, which pretty much every Ayra user wanted. And this weapon refine is actually decent because it's not really all that old, it's only 3 years old, and it gives her visible +3 attack and speed, and also gives her the full tempo effect without really any kind of condition. So back when this refine came out, we didn't really get too many tempo effects in the weapon refines, so it was still pretty unique for that time, and it did allow her to trigger REGNAL Astra really easily and trigger it twice in a single round of combat, and same with Vital Astra, and also later on allowed her to loop Godlike Reflexes. With her refine, she's able to get +4 to all of her stats, and gets a measly 20% damage reduction on foe's first attack, and nowadays we have that much damage reduction on attuned skills like Fleeting Echo and attuned guard skills, so it's not going to be doing much, but back then it was still decent because we didn't really have as much damage reduction piercing. The first unit in the game with a preferred special was Black Knight with his Black Luna, but he was a free Tempest Trial reward, and technically Ayra was the first summonable preferred special unit with REGNAL Astra, and this was the first of its kind because it scaled off based of the speed. And now we have got Vital Astra and Godlike Reflexes as the inheritable specials that use your speed, and we have a bunch of other preferred specials that use your speed and do a lot more. But back then this was a big thing for the damage output, and this was a strong special, and even now this could be used because she does have the speed to make use of it. So back then her build would be Slaying Edge with Quick Impulse and Rat, and with REGNAL Astra she would nuke units really hard and trigger REGNAL Astra twice in a single round of combat. We didn't have a lot of guard effects and defensive effects and damage reduction, so she was a force to be reckoned with, and because she had REGNAL Astra and no other sword infantry unit had that, she was definitely pretty unique. Looking at her stats, after the Resplendent stats, her speed is still usable at base 39, and her attack is kinda low for the modern standards at base 35, but definitely she can try and make up for this by running some of the expensive skills. And you can compare her stat spread to the other older sword infantry units who also have Resplendent versions like Carla and Mia, and both of them are just going to be faster than her, and also Carla is going to be having better attack. But Ayra here does have a bit more defense, which allows her to function a lot better with Lagu's Friend because it will scale off her defense. So that is something that she has got over Carla, and if you really want to max invest in her, then that does come into the play. And putting her up against the modern sword infantry demotes, she does fail in comparison because she is not going to be as fast and also doesn't have that much attack, but she is going to be having a bit more bulk, and again that could come into the play, but she takes a ton of dragon flowers. She can also be compared to her relatives, namely her daughter Larce and her nephew Shannon, and all of these units basically have the same special. So Larce's Edge does have Time Pulse 4 built in, and now with Emblem Marth, she's able to have a 1 cooldown Godlike Reflexes and easily loop it with the help of Null Guard. Unfortunately, she doesn't really get any kind of other things like damage reduction or extra stats, and that's why I kind of prefer having Shannon's weapon refine, because the debuff neutralization is really nice when we have got so much ploy and sabotage skills, and he also has full tempo effect just like Ayra, and he can stack up a lot more stats than Larce or Ayra, so that can definitely help him. Dodge is again going to be pierceable, but that is something that is going to be helping, and again he has got more defense, so that makes him a good user of Lagu's Friend, which is going to be scaling off his defense, and Emblem Marth is going to be fixing the lack of minus and special cooldown in his weapon, and he can use Godlike Reflexes easily with Lagu's Friend at max investment. And both of these units can actually get their Resplendent versions because the precedence we have is with Ilyana, who's a book 4.9 unit, and these are version 4.1, so it could happen maybe in a couple of months or even in a year. Back in October of 2017, we got the Jugdrawl banner with Sigurd, Deirdre, and Tail2, fan favorite characters, and Ayra was not shown with her skills in the trailer, but she was shown off in the trailer, and people assumed that she would be a free unit like a Tempestral Reward, because any kind of unit who was not shown in the trailer with their skills being explained, they were free units at that time. And couple of days after the Jugdrawl banner went live, Ayra suddenly appeared on a Tempestral banner absolutely unannounced, and that too color sharing with Eldigan, an older unit, who was definitely not as good as her. And the fact that it was not told to the players how we would get her and sneakily putting her on a Tempestral banner after Genealogy fans already pulled and spent money for the actual Jugdrawl banner, it just caused a huge controversy because it was absolutely unprecedented. And it didn't help that Ayra was the strongest sword unit at that time because of REGNAL. So that set a precedence and a doubt in the mind of players that insanely new strong units like her can show up outside of regular banners just out of nowhere without any kind of schedule. So they did that again with Rajat being on the Tempestral banner, but because they had got such a big backlash, at least they let the players know in advance at the end of that trailer itself that she would be on the Tempestral banner. And after Ayra and Rajat, no new unit was released on a Tempestral banner as a result of the humongous negative player feedback. If you're going to be building up Ayra, then you'll have to choose between either her preferred weapon or Arcane Devourer. Arcane Devourer does have the special charges effect, which does help you loop godlike reflexes and also just frees up your slot C from running a pled skill. It also gives you full null follow-up, which is not the biggest deal because nowadays we have many ways of outsourcing null follow-up, and we have infantry null follow-up in the divine codes itself. It just helps you with the self-sufficiency, I guess, and it does give you a bit more damage reduction, so it's definitely going to be a bit of an upgrade. But if you cannot really give her Arcane Devourer, then she can still function fine with Ayra's blade even now. And when you run her with Lagu's Friend, the special charges doesn't really matter because you're going to be running her with godlike reflexes and you get the special jumping. She can still be built with her Weapon Refine and REGNAL, and I guess you can try and use Vital Astra, but I feel like we have come in a full circle because Vital Astra has fallen off hard. Its 30% damage reduction is really not much, and with the amount of damage reduction piercing that we have got nowadays, it's not a reliable way of tanking. So you might as well run REGNAL, which is going to be giving you a bit better damage output compared to Vital Astra, even if it doesn't have any kind of damage reduction. And you can run this with Time Pulse 4 and loop it and always have it pre-charged. And because of the full tempo effect in her weapon, just like her old glory days, she's able to trigger REGNAL twice in a single round of combat in the player phase and hit really hard. And now she's got physical null follow-up to get that 50% damage reduction piercing and pretty much become a standard sword infantry unit with the full tempo effect and full null follow-up. Attack speed finish 4 is pretty much going to be one of her best skills because she's always going to be having her special charged up, so the true damage does help. But if you're trying to make use of her with the tempo effect to its full extent, then she could be used with godlike reflexes, and you can run her with Emblem Ike, and this way you can get even more unpierceable damage reduction. So it's going to be really hard for her to manage the speed checks against the insanely fast nukes, but still, this is a way of tanking if you really want to do it with Ayra. Emblem Marth could also be used so that you can have one cooldown godlike reflexes, which you can easily loop with the tempo effect in her weapon. But I do like Emblem Ike a bit more because he gives you more unpierceable damage reduction, which an old unit like Ayra really needs. And you can run Buffer 4 so that you can pre-charge godlike reflexes, and you can also run Attack Speed Pledge, which not only gives you the extra offenses, which are really valuable, but it also gives you the special charges effect, which this weapon doesn't really have compared to Arcane Devourer. So this allows you to easily loop godlike reflexes with the Null Guard present in her weapon, and because she has got the defensive tempo effect, Guard attune skill actually becomes a really good option, and it's pretty much going to be the best attune skill for her because you're not going to be letting the enemy charge any of their specials unless they have Null Guard themselves. She can also function with Potent if you want to have a bit more of an offensive option and get the Potent follow-up attack and also get some damage reduction. So she can run No Quarter for the full damage reduction piercing, and with Emblem Marth, you're going to be having a 1 cooldown No Quarter that you can pre-charge with Time Pulse 4, and with the full tempo effect in her weapon, you can actually trigger No Quarter twice in a single round of combat. And even if she's not able to get 3 attacks in, Potent is still going to be giving her that extra follow-up attack if she meets the speed check, and then you can trigger no quarter again. So this is something that could be done with Arcane Devourer as well. And moving on to Arcane Devourer, it is certainly going to be a bit of an upgrade, and you're going to be losing access to REGNAL, which is not the biggest deal, because at this kind of max investment, Godlike Reflexes is going to be her main special. And again, you pre-charge that with Buffer, get the healing and the true damage with the finish skill, and you get the full null follow-up and these special charges to loop it. So you can run Panic Smoke 4 instead in the slot C, and this way you can get the full penalty doubler effect to Omni tank a bit better. You can also run Guard Echo if you have access to it, even though we don't have tempo effect out of Arcane Devourer. And then at the absolute max investment, the best way of building her up is going to be by making use of her defense with Lagoo's Friend. So this is going to be working with Godlike Reflexes because it's a defensive special, and there's no special requirement for defensive specials with Lagoo's Friend. So you can easily trigger this with the special jumping, and then you get the flat damage reduction based on her defense. And that's why it's really important to stack up all of these stats that you can on her so that she can get the most amount of flat damage reduction. So Distant Bonus Doubler becomes a pretty good slotty skill that you can run from Attune Sita, and also get the Guard Echo skill at the same time, and then run Bonus Doubler as the Sacred Seal as well. And this way you're able to stack up a lot of unpierceable damage reduction with Godlike Reflexes, Emblem Ike, Lagoo's Friend, and not to mention you also get the full damage reduction piercing while running Godlike Reflexes, which cannot really be done with any other build which I've shown before. So this is going to be the peak build that you can run on her, and even though the damage reduction from Arcane Devourer and Guard Echo gets cut in half by Lagoo's Friend, it's not the biggest deal because flat damage reduction is a lot more valuable. And finally, I've got an insane build with a really premium skill in Attack Speed XL. So this is going to be depending on your enemy, and the more spaces they travel, the more flat damage reduction you get on their specials in the enemy phase. So this could stack up with Lagoo's Friend, and you can try and make use of this in the player phase by running Oath for skill, by getting that warping. So this is definitely a flex build, and you can easily get the things done with the previous builds that I've shown before. I feel really sad whenever we have to replace an old preferred special or preferred skill with a new, a very strong inheritable option. So this is going to be my theory craft if I had to give a remix to Ayra and also modernize her weapon a bit. So I would still have the minus and special cooldown, and I would actually give her +4 to all of her stats as the visible stats. So this does have precedence in Chloe, so I don't think it's that crazy to give this to her. And then she's got the full tempo effect, not much change done to the primary effect, and then with the weapon refine she gets +4 to all of her stats, but now she can get even more stats depending on 15% of her visible speed, and that's where the extra visible speed that she's able to get with the primary effect comes into the play. And I've changed her pierceable 20% damage reduction to flat damage reduction on foes first attacks, including the brave hits, by 20% of her speed, and this is going to be making it a lot better for her to tank and a lot more reliable. And then I've given her the 100% damage reduction piercing only on the damaging special. So I'm not trying to incentivize running Godlike Reflexes and replacing her REGNAL, because I'm going to be giving her a remix to that special, and it is going to be doubling down on its damage output, and it's going to be having 50% damage scaling on her speed. So that's like a bonfire that scales off the speed, and that's a 1 cooldown special with her weapon that could be pre-charged. And then I've gone ahead and given her the beacon type of damage reduction, which is unpierceable. So she's going to be getting 40% damage reduction from foes attack if the special is ready or if it's getting triggered in the combat. And this does have good synergy with the full tempo effect that she has got in her weapon. So she's easily able to, again, trigger REGNAL Plus twice in a single round of combat, and even retaliate back with it when she's going to be tanking. So it is going to be boosting her damage output and also making her a lot more of a reliable tank. Of course, we have insane sword units nowadays, so this might not really be that much, but still, this is definitely going to be improving her quite a lot. And you can let me know in the comments what do you think about my theory craft. You can also click the link on the screen right now to check out my Resplendent review of Camilla, who is out now, and make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I wish YouTube sub boxes showed my videos as many times as the amount of sword infantry units in this game. So with that is all, see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.